Hi everyone, so I am making another vlog about something completely different this time. I've made a couple vlogs in the past, but they've all been about Rube Goldberg, so this is kind of something different. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking a class about vlogging and I need science credit, so that's what I'm trying to get with this vlog. It's just gonna be kind of like a progress check of what I'm doing with my research and stuff. It's not gonna be super exciting or super long, but I just want to tell everyone what I'm doing and what I'm researching, what I've learned, and all that type of stuff. All right, so I'm doing origins. So basically I can research whatever I'm interested in. And I recently took a sugar seminar class. We learned about how like sugar affects your body and that type of stuff. And I thought it was really, really interesting. I want to take that type of thing, but instead I want to apply it to like meals, the best stuff to eat nutrition wise based on like what type of lifestyle you live and like how you want to feel. I don't know. That's what I'm going to be researching. Currently, like I'm kind of just researching stuff in general, and then I think I'm going to decide what I want to do as a deep dive. And then I think later on I'm going to get into logging what I eat and stuff, which is kind of what we did with the sugar class, but we were only logging how much sugar we ate, and I kind of want to know how nutritious all of my meals are, like every aspect of them, not just the sugar. I'm excited to see where this goes. This is like my first video before I've fully started researching. I mean, I've done a little bit, but I will continue to update you, and then yeah. Okay, so I have done a bunch of research so far. There's actually a lot more than I was originally anticipating. So this is gonna be part one of, I think I'm gonna do 2 research vlogs. I decided to do my research on how the body utilizes calories and digests them on like a cellular level. When I first started researching, I came up with a bunch of different questions to look at, and the one I chose was how does the body digest and utilize calories in different forms. So basically what I've learned recently is that 1 calorie from one type of food is not the same as a calorie from a different type of food. Like 1,000 calories of like Snickers bars for example is not the same as like 1,000 calories from something like vegetables. So I'm gonna start out with technically what a calorie is. A calorie is defined as being the amount of energy that's required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. Technically, like 1 calorie is 1 calorie, but a lot of times people say that like 1 calorie is not a calorie. And what they mean by that is a calorie is not a calorie as far as how it's processed in your body and how you digest it. So like that's what they're talking about when they say that. And it's kind of similar to how people say like muscle weighs more than fat. Like, you know, a pound of muscle and a pound of fat weigh the same, but like the muscle is going to be more dense than the fat is. So like the first difference between like calories from like really highly processed foods and then calories from like whole foods like vegetables and whole grains and stuff like what you would consider healthy food is that so when you eat really highly processed foods, your body burns all of this energy super duper fast. So like if you were to eat a Snickers bar, you know, you might feel super energized for a while, but then all of a sudden you're gonna have like a sugar crash. Whereas if you were to say eat like a banana, your body takes the calories and the nutrients that you got from that banana and it releases the energy that it creates from that food slowly over the course of the day. So you're gonna feel fuller longer and you're gonna have more energy throughout the day, and you're just gonna feel overall less fatigued. You're not gonna get hungry as quickly, and generally you're just gonna feel better. Another difference in calories is proportion wise. So like for example, 1,000 calories of like highly processed foods is gonna fill up like a lot smaller of a plate than say 1,000 calories from like healthier foods. Okay, so another really, really interesting thing I found was this website that talks about, you know how you see on boxes like, oh, this contains 170 calories. Those measurements don't take into account the amount of energy that your body takes to actually digest those foods. So certain foods could actually contain a lot less calories depending on how your body digests them, because it actually spends calories digesting that food. One thing that really affects how many calories you take in is whether or not you're cooking the food. We're actually able to get more calories from food and more nutrients from food if we cook it, because it breaks down that food's cell walls, and then our body is able to take in more nutrients from the broken down food, right? Another thing about cooking is that certain foods actually, their cell walls and cell structures and everything is harder to break down when you cook it, so you don't actually get as much nutrients from those foods, but you get less calories as well. So I guess if you're looking at it from a weight loss standpoint, those are good to eat because you're still getting nutrients and they're still healthy, but you're just not getting as many calories. So like one example of these types of foods, like nuts, for example, a lot of the time nuts take a lot more energy to digest in your body, so you actually get fewer calories than the label from the container would suggest. So, for example, peanuts, pistachios, and almonds take a lot more energy to be digest. So actually, a study by Janet Novotny, found that when like the average person eats almonds, they actually receive like 128 calories per serving rather than the 170 calories that you'd find on the label. And I'm assuming that's just like the average proportion size. You would get 170 calories, but you actually only get 128, which is really interesting and weird because when I started researching, I wasn't really thinking about the amount of calories that your body burns, like trying to digest stuff. So then another thing that I found was that different types of food obviously take different amounts of energy to digest. So like the amount of calories that you're actually going to get depends on like what type of food you're eating. So for example, protein can require 10 to 20 times as much heat energy to digest as fats, but the loss of calories as heat energy is not accounted for at all on the packaging. So basically, when you eat protein of whatever kind, your body's actually getting fewer calories and storing fewer calories than you would think if you just looked at the label. Overall, what I've learned is that it's really, really hard to measure calories accurately because it depends on so many different factors. Type of food you're eating, if you've cooked it, how much you've cooked it, your height and weight, so many different things because you know, every person digests calories differently. The important thing that I've learned from this is it's really more important to look at what you're eating versus how many calories you're eating. So yeah, I don't have an outro. I don't have an intro either. So sorry. Okay, so that was my research summary. It wasn't actually even all of my research because I had a lot, but I didn't want to make a super long video. There was a lot I didn't include, but there are parts that I want to go more into depth with, so I'm gonna do that for my second research vlog. This is just part one, and I hope you enjoyed it.